In this video, I will show you how to recover a MySQL database with inaccessible tables using Stellar Repair for MySQL. So here, when I click on the orders table, we obtain this error. First, we need to download Stellar Repair for MySQL. So here, let's type Stellar Repair for MySQL. Then let's go to the first link. And here we can download and install Stellar Repair for MySQL, but in my case it is already installed. Then let's make a copy of this database. So let's go to the C drive, then XAMPP, then MySQL, then data, and let's copy this folder of the database. And you can save it on the desktop, for example. Then let's run Stellar Repair for MySQL. Then let's click on Select Database. Let's click on Browse. Let's go to the C drive. Then XAMPP. Then MySQL. Then Data. And let's click on OK. Then OK. So here we have the list of all the databases. Let's unselect this list and let's select our database, which is HotelDB. Then repair. So here we can see that the database is repaired successfully. And here we have the list of the tables. So we can select the different tables and we can see that we have the data of the tables. Now let's save this database. So let's click on Save and let's save it as SQL queries. Then let's select the path where we want to save the file. So let's click on Browse and I will save it on the desktop. So let's create a new folder and let's call it Stellar Repair. Then OK. Let's click on Save, then OK. And you can see that a new folder has been created in the Stellar Repair folder that contains our database. So here we have the different files that allow us to create the different tables. So if we open this file, for example, so here we can see that the database will be created. If it does not exist, then it will be used. So now I will show you how to use the created files to create the new database. So let's go to phpMyAdmin, then let's delete the 3 tables. Then let's click on Yes. Let's go to the folder of the database. So it is HotelDB, and let's delete these files. Then let's use the SQL files to fill the table. So let's click on Import. Let's click here. Then Stellar Repair. Then this folder. Then HotelDB. And first let's create the users table. Then Import. Let's do the same thing with the other files. Now let's click on this database. Let's click on the users table so we can see that we have the data, the same when we click on this table and when we click on the orders table.